Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tego Cyber. We're sitting here once again with Shannon. We wanted to talk about a recent article coming out talking about industry best practices related to the government and cybersecurity. Shannon, how are you doing? Are you ready to dive in?
I'm doing great, Michael. Already.
Wonderful, wonderful. So essentially what this article is highlighting is it's talking about more of the bureaucracy of cybersecurity in the government space, where it's focused more on the auditing and the pencil pushing, and then kind of finding someone to blame retroactively as opposed to proactively helping cybersecurity. Can you give some more information from your point of view?
Yeah, so the article really focused on that a lot of agencies and a lot of organizations are focused really on the creation of policies. This is what you can do and this is what you can't do. And we have all these policies and all these playbooks and, thousands of pages of documentation. But when it comes to actually implementing those best practices and making the organization follow all these thousands of pages of documentation, we are falling short. Organizations aren't enforcing best practices when it comes to password security. Particularly, I've seen numerous articles that talk about, we make the lower level employees follow one set of rules, but when it gets up into executive management, the CEO and the CFO and all the executives, they have this totally other set of rules that they have to play by. And it's actually at those levels that a lot of these security incidents, the phishing scams and data breaches occur at those levels because they're not following the guidelines which were put in place because those were really the best practices. Those are the best security guidelines that the organization should follow. So the article talks a lot about, not just writing all the policies and having thousands of pages of documentation dictating what we should do, but actually doing it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So as you said, it's almost all theoretical with what they're doing. They're saying, hey, we should be doing this, this, and this, but getting people to comply is kind of a difficult thing. Do you know a way that we could streamline that process as a whole? And I know streamline and government kind of don't really go hand in hand too much in terms
Right.
of actual implementation, but would you have any advice, let's say if someone was asking you how they could make it work out better?
Right. So really getting also those technical resources that you need to implement and enforce the security guidelines that you've put in place. So the guidelines and everything are great, but if you don't have the technical resources and the people actually to go look on your networks and make sure that people are following the guidelines and that you are doing your best to secure your organization, if you don't have those resources, those guidelines don't make much
Yeah.
sense or make much use because there's nobody there to actually implement and enforce. So
Fair.
really, setting up the organization for success, of course, make the policies, do your guidelines, but then also have the technical resources to implement your plan and make sure that you're able to do your best.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess something similar in a similar vein would be like OSHA mandates for safety, and if you don't have a security officer there being like, "Hey, enforcing these and trying to keep everyone in line," things tend to fall apart quickly. And I imagine it's roughly the same thing for cybersecurity.
Yeah. And there's an interesting part in the article as well that talks about it's good to find people that have experience dealing with data breaches and dealing with cybersecurity incidents because, not that they've, failed in a previous organization, because there's lots of reasons why there might be a security incident that they would have difficulty preventing.
Mhm.
But it's really that those people have already gone through the process of finding threat actors and responding to an incident so that they have that experience to help shore up the defenses at another company. They can kind of right the wrongs that they saw in a previous organization and kind of stand up and say, hey, the other organization that I was at did this and that, and we want to, make sure that we close those holes and avoid those situations that they faced in a previous experience.
Yeah, experience has pretty much always been the best teacher, and it would be good to have some seasoned people on board and helping across this. But all right, Shannon. Well, thank you for giving your insight on this. Do you have any last words about it before we go?
No, I don't think so. Thanks, Michael.
All right, thank you for coming on, and thank you everybody for watching.